get it to maximum capacity, and it's probably full now. So once everything is normal, we'll bring you over and show you our lovely incubator. And we have a garden in the 5th floor where people have a tea and coffee and stuff like that, which nobody else has in Research Park. So we'll bring you there one day. And over to you to just have a few words of starting remarks, and then we will allow them. And I usually the sessions, we let the audience ask the questions directly to you. And unless they are not able technically, then I will sort of read the question out for you. Okay, over to
Yeah.
you. Thank
So
you.
thank you so much, Muthu. It's an honor for me to be here with you all. A very good evening to all those who are present here. As shared by Muthu, I have been with the Department of Science and Technology in the vertical of, we call it a board, National Science and Technology Entrepreneurship Development Board, which was set up way back in 84. So close to more than 35 years ago. So you can imagine the way the government was so visionary. They wanted to integrate entrepreneurship when in academics, when nobody had really heard of it. It was sort of an alien term in the academic environment way back in mid of 80s. And we have really come far as we speak now. I have spent close to more than 20 years in the Department of Science and Technology in various capacities, but focusing on the technology-based entrepreneurship domain only. So I've seen the way India has really evolved, has really progressed in last 2 decades or so. So let me quickly walk you all through the journey of 35 years in say 1 or 2 minutes. So when the government started this particular board, the intent was really very clear. They wanted to have a mechanism through which job seekers could be converted or translated into job generators. That was only possible when you have your own company, your own venture, which is successful, and which in after say 4 or 5 years actually is grown in a way. It provides not only sustains your family, also gives jobs to many more others, and that's how you are a contributor in revitalizing the immediate economy wherever you are located. So that was the intent, and primarily we were also guided by the US and UK's experience, where the leading top universities had these kind of mechanisms to promote spin-offs from the university research. They also had the technology transfer offices, TTOs, as a vehicle for technology commercialization activity. How do they actually transfer it to various industries, or through creation of new ventures, or startups was not that prevalent during those days. So this we continued for say up to 2000, till 2000, when India positioned itself as a global talent hub for IT services. We started till 15 years we experimented Science and Technology Entrepreneurs Park, which was primarily hardware driven, common facilitation center, central workshops for engineering and manufacturing industry. So that was our main focus at that point. Various NITs became part of it. NIT Trichy was among the early ones. SGC Mysore, BIT Mesra Ranchi, IIT Kharagpur were part of it. This journey, we call it STEP. From 2000, when services took a lead in terms of GDP also, there we transitioned our, you can say, this particular model to more service oriented, and we pioneered the concept of technology business incubator in 2000 in the country. Again, our target group was academic institutions. Till 2015-16, our rate of actually supporting incubator or establishing a new incubator was about close to three per year. When before the start of Startup India as a national initiative, when PM really actually bestowed a lot of confidence in our young talented youth, And actually, clearly, he had a confidence that these youth professionals will be the drivers of change for the economy, and startup could be a viable and a potent tool for bringing new life to our economy and in variety of ways. So with technology business incubator, we added another layer, was how to convert knowledge into wealth creation. With Startup India, we also focused on and motivated our youth to look around, be observant. There are so many problems around. How can you people come with the kind of viable solutions in the form of various products and services? So it was the key focus became to be a problem solver. So that's how we actually kept on adding many more layers in our program, objectives, focus, offerings. And now from 2016, our rate of setting of incubators increased at a rate of 8 to 10 incubators per year. Current tally, as we speak, is close to 153 incubators across India. 80% of these models are academic institutions driven. We have covered most of the leading IITs, NITs, private university, and we have also experimented with different models like Technopark, which is known as Kerala Startup Mission, IKP Knowledge Park, and many other similar programs. Like we also supported initially on a work for virtual incubation Indian Angel Network way back in 2010. So we also actually imbibe some of the key ingredients of being an entrepreneur, although working in a government, because we have to really exhibit those kind of speed and scale and be nimble at the same time, be visionary how the market or needs are going to change, and that's how we have been working so far till now. Other than the main flagship activity, or which is the backbone of our program, happens to be technology business incubator. But we had a hard look at our program offerings. What does in the market in terms of innovation to value chain? What is the missing pieces? What links are in the chain, whole chain? What links are completely missing? And that's how, with a brainstorming, which was done in a very unconventional manner in Udaipur in sometime in 2016, after Startup India initiative was launched. Top 20 incubators with all our top mentors, we all sat together and figured out the links and came out with a program which is known as Nidhi. Now this has become our flagship activity, which it is an acronym which stands for National Initiative for Developing and Harnessing Innovations. And what we have done that, like whatever links start from, there were clear cut some missing links when it comes to what is the process, what is the funding mechanism if one walks in an incubator only with an idea. So with no startup in place, no backing from the family, is there any support which government has thought about? And that's how we came with the program Prayas, Idea to Prototype Funding. We also came with a new program which is Entrepreneur in Residence, which is sort of a fellowship program. Anyone who has an idea but is not really fully geared up to have a startup in place, we give them a 1-year time frame with a modest monthly fellowship of 30,000 to work with select incubators where this EIR program is getting implemented, and they can work, gain confidence, validate the idea, and at the end of the program in a year's time frame register the startup. And these two programs have become a sort of feeder to our incubator program. These are the programs which are a sort of a pre-incubation. They target the pre-incubation activity, and in 3 years we have had 2 to 3 versions of this program, have been really very successful. In terms of, just to cite an example, out of 400 innovators who got benefited for Idea to Prototype, wherein we give a funding of about 10 lakhs a year, almost 75% have actually have their startups in place. More than 60% have filed patents, IP. So is the case with the EIR also. There are really very shining examples how these the students or you say in Prayas, a classroom project has really turned out to be a successful commercial venture, earning good, decent amount of revenue. So we have all these programs which were really tailored to suit the market requirements from the innovator perspective. Thereafter, we enhanced our funding norms for the incubator. We enhanced it multifold. So is the case with the seed support. We were earlier also experimenting with the seed support. We enhanced it to up to 1 crore of funding to a potential startup, given it gets clear approval from the local level selection committee. And all these support have really come handy to startups in fast tracking their startup journey. We also realized that in after leaving the incubator, the graduates of our incubation program, when they are in the real market, they really face scaling up issues. And just to based on the successful accelerator models, be it Y Combinator or 500 startups or Techstars, we came out with Undernidhi program accelerator. It is typical 3 to 6 months of a cohort-based program with a either you fail fast or grow fast model. So with a deep mentoring, and you are curated, the startups are curated in a way that you enhance the investment readiness of these startups. So we must have supported close to 20 accelerator programs so far, but now based on the learnings, we really want these accelerator to be domain focused, because early more than 60% for a generic kind of thing. But like, since all these domain based startups have different mentors, the market, the way you look at the market are so different, product life cycle may be different, and so is the case of the kind of investors who look at particular domain may be different. So we are now will be gearing up to for more domain centric sector focused accelerator programs henceforth. And now with the Kavach program, which has been on since April, we have really in a shorter span, with a power of collaboration, including HTIC, which is a partner to this program, along with 6 other incubators spread all over the country. We have been able to funnel the 826 applications in 5 thematic areas and brought it down to somewhere 50 plus now, and funding has been disbursed to. And these startups have a really sort of a market readiness is the hallmark of all these startups. And in no I think in 1 month or so, most of the products will be out in the market for all the targeted customers, be it hospitals, be it patients. So it will be have B2B, B2C, or the app-based solutions, which are so very much required for contactless. That is a key requirement for all the product offerings for a society to unlock as of now. So all those you can say experiments have really yielded well, and we are fortunate that not only us, we have been joined by multiple government departments. Of course, DBT is our sister department. Other than that, CSIR also is there, part of our ministry. Then METI, Ministry of Information Technology, through their TIDE 2.0 program, Niti Aayog through Atal Innovation Mission. You talk of Department of Defense through Defense Production through IDEX program, Ministry of Food Processing, all have really come forward to evolve and be a partner in the startup ecosystem. 24 or so state governments have now their startup policy in place. So I must say that the environment is so really enabling and conducive for anyone to take a plunge in the entrepreneurship domain. And from the government, because we are focusing on innovation of relevance as well as innovation of excellence. And now we have been joined by another agenda. It's a self-reliant India, Atmanirbhar India, being vocal for local. So these are new add-ons, and we are actively thinking how to be really responsive for the new agenda. And another missing links of like how to now concentrate more on the startup building process, because we have done so far infrastructure building, we have done the incubation team building, we have been successful in program offerings. Now is the ultimate beneficiary. We really want our startups to be more successful. Currently, they may be under incubation 60% successful. We really want to enhance that number. For each rupee invested in our seed support, has this has been leveraged to raise about 5 times more from the external investor. This is also a good sign, but lot needs to be done when we talk of India as a country and a country as a whole, which has a and our you can say offerings is a sort of it's only catalytic support or maybe sort of a drop in a ocean. But I think we are all committed towards it, and incubators like Ashish said. So just to correct Muthu, I have visited your place. That was in last year only. I was a part of the MSD award jury for Entrepreneurs Award, and I visited your entire ecosystem. In fact, you were not around. I'm forgetting the lady name who took me around to your place, and I must say this place is really amazing in terms of the it is buzzing with energy. I could see your cafeteria. I could see the environment, the ambience, and one of the positive signal which I got from one of the investor who's a regular to your place is this is the only place where investor come looking at the startups, not the other way around. So it's a huge compliment to the entire ecosystem, the ITM Research Park, which is housing number of incubators, the stakeholders, the like-minded people in the entire ecosystem. And only one will not suffice, although there are 7 research parks in the country. DSTS supported one at IIT Gandhinagar. But we really, apart from the infrastructure, we really need the right set of people and team to drive the whole initiatives. So that's it from my side as of now. I'll be happy to take questions. Thank you.
Krishnan, can you unmute and ask your question? Krishnan, you are there? Krishnan, you can unmute and ask your question. Okay, I'll ask the question if he's not there. He's asking, what are the entrepreneurship development programs available for biomedical engineers with 24 years experience, especially on medical device development with Department of Science and Technology, Government of India?
Yeah, so in terms of, see, as I told you, our offerings for such a, you can say 24 years of experience is a fairly good experience in this domain. So I think whatever idea one must be having is a very carefully thought of, which will really is a very felt need in the market. Our offerings to such kind of entrepreneurs, we have some of the incubators like NCL Venture Center, which is a good one, a renowned one in this area. Second one is IKP Knowledge Park. Then we also have even Science IIT Bombay. Most of our leading incubators, KIT Bhubaneswar. It depends upon the location where you are in at the moment, and the kind of offerings. Most of our incubators, some of the incubators have graduated to a bigger entity, which is Center for Excellence, and in terms of both infra, the kind of offerings they have is far more bigger and better than the usual ones which are offered by a regular TBI. So if you really want the kind of support, it can be available through seed support, which is available to a potential incubatee. You have to really be a part of the incubator who has the seed funds at their disposal, and then you can follow it. It's fairly, everything is online. One can go through, browse through what are the eligibility conditions. 3 months residency is minimum required to avail that funding. And now many incubators are having, I think we have 2 or 3 healthcare domain focused accelerator supported in Bangalore. The incubator like that was the Anand Sagar. So this particular incubator has access to hospital, it's a group's hospital. So whatever one brings in can be tested in the hospital. So you have to really figure out what particular product you have and which incubator can really offer you the maximum apart from the funding part one was be looking at initially, because I know this particular domain is really capital intensive, and it becomes a key criteria of selecting the support one is looking for. But you may not be needing that much of mentorship, having worked more than 2 decades of experience. So mentorship you will not be looking. So funding, if funding being the sole criteria, we have 7-8 good incubators who could offer you. Apart from now, frankly speaking, DBT is the nodal body for all medtech related, because most of our supported incubators have added their layer of funding as well. So it all clearly depends. Government has, you can say, a variety of funding initiatives, be it DBT, be it DST, or these are the two ones who are in terms of funding landscape is relatively bigger than others.
Cool. Thank you. Pratishta has a question. Unmute and ask, please.
Good evening, ma'am. It's again a great pleasure to have you today with us. So my question is not focused on the schemes, but more towards the strategy that the government is actually focusing on. We've seen that there's increasing support which has been provided by DST and DBT, focusing on biotech and medtech in the last few years, especially through different agencies like BIRAC. Is there a broader strategy that the government is following to support biotechnology and allied industries, or to sort of boost these industries? Is there a broader strategy to sort of support?
Because COVID has given new, actually, everyone has mapped now the current infra, current capabilities, the existing, and how do we enable if such kind of pandemic or health scare strikes in future. So healthcare has really gained a lot of significance and prominence, and it's been part of the strategy wherever we brainstorm as of now. And other than like central or federal government, represented by within my ministry, 3 of us, DST, DBT, even CSIR is also coming out with newer programs. So we 3 are the lead players in this domain. Apart from this, it's very happy and heartening to note that many state governments are coming up. Yesterday only I read the news that UP government in partnership with STPI Lucknow with Sanjay Gandhi Medical Institute and METI will be supporting a healthcare incubator with a target of supporting 50 startups in a span of 5 years. So now is the time. Now we are coming out with not a generic incubator, but a very focused, domain focused, which is the need of the hour, the need of the nation, need of the world as well. So everyone is deliberating and coming out. And apart from this, we want to add a couple of the other elements from the startup perspective, right? We have to really engage with the industry, be it the paid pilots or be it getting the real mentoring from the market perspective. So go-to-market strategy has to be really be a sound preposition for startup value offering from the incubator side, and so is the case of enhancing their you can say funding readiness or funding capabilities. So these two are the clear rather than looking for the key metrics, like whether the startup is a unicorn, how much time to be a unicorn. I think India need to figure out the really different metrics of gauging the startup success. I think it's a profitability, the other aspects, rather than the typical Silicon Valley or the accepted norm of judging only by the valuation or the billion-dollar valuation or you be a unicorn. That is also good, but like we have our different trajectories, so different, our areas are so different. We really need a good mix of social as well as the cutting edge innovation. So
okay, cool.
That's my take.
Thank you. And we have Sai Kiran. Please go ahead, Kiran. Sai Kiran, go ahead, unmute and ask the question directly. Please unmute. Okay. Good evening, ma'am. What are the incubation facilities available for pharma startups in India? As this is need of the hour now, and a lot of national pharma institutions are not that supportive for this. Please suggest for scheme and incubation available for pharmaceutics.
Oh, so this is a $1 billion question. So to develop a molecule, you really require a good amount of money. Out of 150 incubators, the portfolio DST has of incubators across various domains, I can safely say about 7 to 8% are focusing only on the pharma. So as I'll repeatedly say that KIIT, Bhubaneswar, they are not really pharma, but they are medtech or biotech related kind of incubators. NCL Venture Center has a chemical incubator, so you can say it's much more aligned to pharma sector. So in almost all part of India, in IIT Delhi, FITT is also, it's not DST supported, but DBT, I am taking the bigger family under our portfolio. So DBT C Camp is the one, and I think AMTZ Vizag is also a focused one. And it is there is a move to bring AMTZ entirely under the fold of DBT. That's also happening. So for pharma and you can say drug development, COVID has given a new you can say nomenclature like repurposing of drugs and all. Everything is happening. So collectively, more than DST, we have our sister departments, CSIR, which is currently leading the entire nationwide activities only related to drug development for COVID-19. While DST is more on the is collating information on testing side, DBT on the vaccine side, and that's how we have distributed responsibility. DRDO is doing for entire PPs and respiratory aids and other stuff. For bioinformatics, SAMETI for app-based and all those. So we have Government of India has really distributed responsibilities, and really to talk of pharma, we may be having only a handful of you can say incubators, so as to say. But this is a longish you can say timelines and chain. Drug development is really unlike other sectors. It takes 7 to 8 years, going all the phases of trials, approvals, and it's much more regulatory driven with stringent norms in place. So I can say 6, 7 are there. You could browse our website where domain is also given in our website against each incubator, and you can really initiate one-on-one dialogue with them.
Okay, great. Actually, the incubator in Delhi doing pharma. I've been connected with them. They've asked me to speak to the students there. I'm not sure which one. I think it's called the Institution of Pharmacology or something. It's just outside Delhi, Hyderabad or somewhere. They recently asked me to speak.
Yeah, so there are pharmacy related in Chandigarh, in Delhi. There are institutes. I think they must be under Ministry of Department of Pharmacy, Chemical or pharmacy. They should be under.
And funded. They have a Bioness incubator there. Just recently set up, and they asked me to speak there. So they were focusing on drug delivery and
so actually all these, even pharmacy management and engineering and technical comes under the bigger purview of AICT. So if one goes through the entire directory of which are the institutions, I think all top institutions should be having some or the other initiatives to support these kind of initiatives. And this kind of development is also now led by AI, because data driven kind of technology, a lot of role of AI and computing technologies, new age computing technologies. So it's sort of a, you can say these are where the complementary technologies also could find all IIT should be having some or the other interventions to support these kind of efforts.
Absolutely. Selva, go ahead and ask ma'am that directly. Weird. Nobody wants to ask directly.
I could one question flashed here. Somebody asked Neha some about the women.
No, I'll read it for you. Madam, kindly explain how DST supports prototype and IPR protection related things for startup companies, lack of funds.
No, so you want me to answer to take this question of for prototype building?
Correct. So they want to know in prototype and IPR protection related to things for startups, but they lack of funds. How would DST help them?
And which is the third part? Lack of funds for?
For startups, it says. So we'll assume it's that's okay. That's
Okay.
same.
We say there is no dearth of funds for startups. Funding is at plenty. Only thing is really to figure out. I don't know. The sensitization exercise needs to be done from the government side as well, because I think, and I'm even told the nodal ministry, a department for Startup India, Department of Industrial Policy and for DPIIT, is also willing to come out with a new scheme for supporting startups, the non-incubated startups. So while our schemes are tailored to support only the incubated ones, whereas the ones who are left out of, who are not part of the incubation program, there's a bigger scheme which is in the annual, and it will come out shortly. So I think from the government side, in terms of funding options, it's there's a SIDBI, there is NABARD, and there you can even state government, Gujarat government has their own funding norms. Telangana must be having. All progressive states have really come out with their schemes. There, if you really browse the website of Venture Center NCL Pune, they have tried to really collate all the funding schemes under one roof, which is available from all Government of India entities put together. So this is a useful kind of a information source. At one place you can figure out what is the and navigate through what could be the fundings. If you are starting with an idea, we are starting with, you have some working prototype, some traction already taken place, some more validation. So depending upon which journey you are, one can really navigate and figure out which funding scheme of which Government of India department really fits into your requirement. So that's we will also hyperlink with that, because this is a most valid question which any startup may be having, whichever phase of journey they are in. So NCL Venture Center has tried to make a good attempt on this part. And regarding IPR protection, the kind of funding we give, one has to really avail the seed support, because all these basic requirements to protect your IP are actually built in the whole funding which comes as a part of seed support. Other than that, we have within DST's entity, we have a TIFAC, and under TIFAC, it's we have a patent facilitation cell which offers all the support for protection of IP, filing of patents, both from the knowledge perspective and the hard support perspective. And even under the Startup India Action initiative, 80% you can avail the fees of IP filing has been actually brought down, or you can be reimbursed if one gets the there is a reduction, 80% reduction in the IP filing for startups. So and even MSME, Ministry of MSME has a scheme. Once you it's not for the filing, but once the IP is granted, one can avail the reimbursement. So that happens only after once it is granted, patent is granted to startup. So these are variety of schemes which are available for. We don't have any specific, but our seed support, this takes care of. It's a built-in part of that.
The next one is Kumar. You can.
Can I go ahead with my question, Muthu sir?
Good evening, madam.
Yeah,
go ahead.
good evening.
Go
Yeah,
ahead.
go ahead, Kumar. I'll ask next.
No, we'll follow the sequence so that it's no issues. I'll come to you, don't worry. Senthil, go ahead.
Yeah, good evening, madam. We are writing proposal for the battery startup, but we don't have IPs. So how to get the support? Without IP also we can get the support.
No, as of now, you don't have IP. That's your question. Can you repeat your question?
Yes. We are writing a proposal, battery startup for the battery startup funding. So we don't have IPs, but we have the idea and obligation. So is it enough to apply for the fundings
Yeah.
some
See,
seed grant or Nidhi Prayas?
Yeah, having IP or no IP, that is not a mandatory condition to apply in any of the program. It is for the startup to have a competitive edge in the market. It's better whatever innovation which you claim is yours should be protected at the right time. So that's the intent. That's how the culture of protecting your IP is building up and catching up. But that doesn't mean that you can't apply. You can always apply. That's not a mandatory condition in any of our program offerings, but it only gives you an edge over others. But slowly that culture has to be a part of it.
Yeah. Thank you, madam. One more
Next question is by Rose.
Yeah, there are a lot of incubators.
Go ahead. Senthil, go ahead.
There are a lot of incubators. So we are confused whether which one we have to apply. Like we are nearby BSc STEP is there and IIT Madras is there. A lot of incubators is there. Which one we have to apply? Is this nearby region or it is based on our interest?
See, when you're choosing an incubator, you are sort of a customer.
Okay.
So you are customer to the of the incubator.
Okay.
So now customer becomes a king. You have to really look at two aspects. What is the value added offerings by that particular incubator? What is the range of program offerings which gives a value addition? And you really need to then compare. Once you go in the market, even to buy a simple stuff, you do the market survey depending upon requirement. When you have close to 350 incubators as a cumulative put together of across all the Government of India departments, there has to be certain yardstick or criteria to really figure out which will suit your requirements. See, one could be, suppose you are looking for funding. Does this particular incubator offers funding when he or she joins there? Or if you are looking, I am first generation entrepreneur with no knowledge of entrepreneurship, what kind of mentors will be available for me? Do they provide some support for go to market? Or suppose you are confident that your product may even fetch international customers, or you need to after 2-3 years reach out to global market access. So is there any program by incubator which offers me global market access or IP? So each incubator creates a niche for itself, whether it's marketing or it's you can say investment readiness, it's a mentoring, it's a, so all those one, or some may be having all. So you have to really figure out which will fit your bill, and then take a call, take a decision which is to join. Of course, there is no ranking of incubators as of now. It may come up soon.
Okay.
Then one will, from the startup perspective, one will be in a better position to say, okay, this is a top rung incubator and which offers what startup needs. Everything is tailored. It gets customized to the startup needs. One can take a quick call.
Thank you.
Next question from Gio. Gio, go ahead and ask your question, please. Okay, his question is, what are the procedures and requirements needed to get into Prayas for converting idea to prototype and enter the market?
Yeah, so the way this Prayas programs really runs into it, like out of say 150, 1/5 of our incubators are having this Prayas centers, we call it Prayas Shalas, for which give access to digital fabrication, mechanical fabrication. And whenever there is a vacancy, see, they are designed to support only 10 innovators a year. With the funding to the tune of up to 10 lakhs, it may be less. So anyone, they need not be having a startup initially, but an idea to work upon, and that has to be submitted. The plan has to be submitted. The details have to be submitted, and it is typically for a year's time frame, and on a very need be on a selective, it can stretch up to 18 months, wherein you are given this sort of a grant, and you have to come out with a working prototype. And in case this prototype is really has a potential, create a MVP, minimum viable product, and then you could be a part of a formal incubation program. It's up to you where you want to join. So it's only when there is a ad which comes from the respective Prayas centers, they announce it on their website when a call is made. So it is not announced centrally, although the program management unit of Prayas happens to be SAIN IIT Bombay, which manages the website. And these are some of the you can say process flow of the Prayas program. I think anyone who has a good idea really can come forward to translate, but it's a competitive, because with the given the limitation we have with each of our Prayas centers, they cannot support more than 10. If funding quantum is reduced, say you may be requiring 3, 4, 5 lakhs, then they can enhance, but we give them up to supporting 10 innovators in a year. That's 1 crore we give them to each of the Prayas centers, which are TBIs essentially.
Okay, Innovate Solution CEO, go for it. You can
Yeah, thanks, Muthu. Good evening, ma'am.
Good evening.
Yeah. So is the TDP Technology Development Board part of DST, right?
Yes.
Okay. So we recently proposed a facial recognition product solution for TDP's call for AI and IoT product solution for contactless entry. And one of the feedback, like the primary feedback, was that this is a mature sector with multiple commercial off-the-shelf solutions. Okay, but the reality is, many of the commercial of the solutions are kind of, foreign products. So that's where, like, we are wondering whether, whether TDP meant something else or whether we misunderstood. So I would appreciate your thoughts on facial recognition solutions in India.
Let me just tell you, TDB is our financing arm, which is set up by a special act of parliament. So the way it offers its funding, it's both for the indigenous technology, for actually importing the technologies and getting it localized. So and it largely gives funding in the form of soft loans. And the way we differentiate between our offerings, because we also give seed support. So we give it to really the ones who are under incubation. And TDB gives to relatively mature startups. That's how we actually relatively mature. See, in the age of startup may be 2 to 3 years. This is a typical age of startup, which is inside the incubator, who can avail our funding. Nidhi funding programs. Whereas in the technology development board, you have to be in the market. Most of the startups are in the pre-revenue stage when they are inside the incubator, because they are really experimenting, validating, and gaining that confidence as they are inching towards the market translation.
Okay.
Whereas, once you graduated out of the incubator, you have some traction which has taken place. You have some customer base which lends you more credibility and confidence, and then you require some funding to scale up your operations. Then you approach TDB.
Okay.
So you have two
All right.
options. You raise your funding for scaling up either through regular investment route of angels or VCs.
So we are
or-
under incubation.
Okay.
So DST have the option for seed grant, is it?
DST is an option for seed grant now because you may fall under the definition of startup if your the age of startup is less than 10 years. As per the latest definition, anyone who has not attained the age of 10 years, they would be, there's a DPIT definition on startup
Okay.
India. But it doesn't mean like if you are in a position, you are generating some revenue. And see, because going by their norms, you have to really bring your contribution to show your contribution.
Yeah.
Whereas in
That is what,
our schemes, in
that's
our
what
schemes,
like
that
we
is
didn't
not a
understand
condition.
their questions. So I
Yeah.
think now I understand we did in ignorance. We should have approached the DST.
So where are you getting incubated right now?
IIT Madras Incubation Cell.
Incubation cell. So incubation cell has a fund seed support funding with them.
Yes. We are availing. Yeah.
Yeah.
We are availing that.
And the next question. Sorry.
Hello, ma'am.
Can
Yeah,
I get
hello.
Sharda has put a question there? Let us sort of ask it first, please.
Okay.
Sharda, go ahead. I'll come back to you, Famis. Sharda, please go ahead. Okay, her question is, hello, ma'am. I'm a biotech startup and also a research scholar. Do we have any provision to apply for seed fund support for developing a prototype?
This is a sort of a mixture of two questions where we have a clear-cut two different schemes tailored to the needs of, if it's a prototype, we have a Prayas. Seed support comes only when you have a startup registered. That becomes, that's a precondition for availing seed support. So if you're a research scholar working on any biotech domain, but without a startup, then you can only avail the Prayas funding.
Okay, cool. The next one is from someone called Karthik Somasundaram. If he's there, he can. Do you want to ask that question, Karthik? Madam, please let me know when DST Biomedical Device and Technology Development Program will be reopened.
Biomedical device will be reopened.
Yes.
See, this was actually this is a part of our technology development and systems program. TDT program is there, and they have a you can say clear focus on this particular activity. I know we have supported one in Anna University also, some center we have supported, and through our program, we actually sort of experiment. We have supported BTech Center in IIT Bombay, Professor Ravi's Center, which is also supported by Rajiv Gandhi SNT Mission of Maharashtra. We have supported biotech incubator in our institute, Shri Chitra, at Trivandrum Central Institute of Medical Sciences and Technology, as a regular TBI. But let me find out what is the current policy in terms of, because there were two thoughts about it. Let me see what is a fresh or renewed thinking on this. I'll get back to you.
Okay, cool. The next question is from Nitya. She wants to know about Nitya. If you can unmute, please go ahead. Seems like most people can't unmute, huh? Or they've. Okay, she's asking, ma'am, would you please?
Sir,
could you? She's there. Go for it. Go for it.
Good evening, ma'am. This is Nidya. I'm a Sparsh Fellow at HDIC. So I would like to know if there are any schemes specially available for women entrepreneurs.
So, especially tailored for women entrepreneurs, we start with the training activity wherein like nitty-gritties of how to set up an enterprise are given. So it's a usual sort of a training program we call it WEDP program. Then for a dedicated funding, our effort so far has been only to first spot where are these women entrepreneurs through various sort of competitions. So we had supported for last 5 years Women Entrepreneurship Quest with AnitaB.org, which is a Silicon Valley based entity. It's for women in computing. They run this program, Women Entrepreneurship. We have been supporting. So our support there is limited to connecting them to larger set of ecosystem players and bringing, actually taking them to US ecosystem visit, wherein these kind of startups get first-hand exposure about the quality mentors, the investments. They are made to pitch with the top VCs. I think you won't have one wouldn't get any opportunity to meet and interact with them personally. Be it Vinod Khosla or Charles River Venture. So all top-notch VCs, these women entrepreneurs are actually given first-hand feedback when they pitch before them, because fortunately most of these investors are of Indian origin, and they really look forward to help women entrepreneurs and more Indian startups. But the kind of feedback which we have got, like, it's very heartening to note the quality of women entrepreneurs has really been improved a lot. There's no dearth of talent. Only thing is the support system is good. They have the confidence. I think it's no difference at all. It's all level playing field.
Okay.
Unfortunately, we have close to 20% women-led entrepreneurs as founders in startup activity number-wise.
Very good.
And we have come a long way. In 2 years, from 8%, we have come to 20%. So it is progressing rapidly for better.
Fantastic. Surya from Tirupati Women's University would like to ask you a question. Please, one a TBT funded.
Good evening, madam. This is Dr. Surya Kumar from the Technology Business Incubator, my Padma Tirupati. It's a pleasure listening to you, and thank you so much for the funding that you are going to the university. One small query from my side, that the DST is providing all the required funding to establish the incubator, providing all the infrastructure for renovation, equipment and all that. But once the facility is ready, what problem we are facing is mostly in the tier 2, tier 3 cities, is that we have people coming with some good ideas, but there is no funding for them to support them to make the initial prototype or prove their proof of concept. And I think until 3 years, we're not supposed to apply for the seed funding for this incubator. So it would be pretty nice if DST can allocate some funding in the beginning itself, along with the renovation of the infrastructure, so that we provide some small funding to the incubators to develop the proof of concept. Kindly comment.
Yeah, I completely agree. While we give support to set up incubator infrastructure wise, getting the facilities opened up, it is the real need in terms of when the funding schemes like Prayas is there or seed support is there, which really enhances the entire critical support services from the startup perspective. So it is, if you carefully look at their guidelines, not 3 years. Eligibility is once you have 5 to 6 startups under your incubation who may be requiring seed support, one can apply. So 3 years is not a restriction. What could be the limiting would be the funding availability at our end. We are also limited. Even if we want to support you people, we have to, it's a really competitive. We get close to 50-60 proposed applications against each call. And given that scenario, we have to really filter it down. And our current capacity happens to be supporting not more than 10 incubators with the Nidhi Seed Support Program. So that could be the limitation. But I think you should also explore whatever funding schemes are there available across other government departments, even state governments, till you get a formal funding from our side. So that is the situation.
Okay. Question there from Suchitra, I think. So let me just see whether I can find it. The guy just now wanted to ask a question, Fami or Shami, I can't remember. Fami, you go ahead and ask first. Go ahead, because I promised that you can ask. So please go ahead. Fami, you can unmute and ask. You're in mute. Okay, now that okay, there's a question from Shah. Go ahead, ask your question.
Hello, ma'am.
Hello.
Within what period of time after receiving the Prayas grant patent to be filed to keep his novelty and its
We can't hear you, Fami.
No, yeah, I couldn't get the question very clearly.
okay. After receiving the Prayas grant, within what period of time the patent should be filed to get it protected?
So it depends upon the level of development. See, you have to be in touch with like what are the claims for which you have to do the prior art, whatever you are developing, what are the similar kind of products, and what claim you are putting on, what is that uniqueness and novelty feature which you have brought. So it doesn't mean that like you have to do in 2 months or 3 months. Depending upon the confidence, you have to be really confident for the claim you will be putting up. You have to do some sort of prior to scout for the similar sort of products where it has been attempted or a patent has been granted. So that's your homework which needs to be done at your end. And time is not there. Although 1 year is our time, it can be filed at any point in time. 8 months, 9 months. Once you are really confident about the claims against which the patent would be filed.
I have read one point about that. I mean, the patent should be filed within 6 months after receiving the funding. Is there any thing like that after receiving the funding?
Yeah, so that aspect I need to really check, because I don't see it is not being put up in the website as such. And sometimes what happens, you are under which Prayas center, which incubator?
Sri Chitra.
Okay, Shri Chitra. Okay,
Yes.
sometimes some flexibility is given to each of the implementing TBIs also. So they devise their own. So from our program guidelines, it's not there in our DST website and guidelines. We have not put in this kind of condition.
So we take one more question because it's almost top of the hour, and I must let you go. Suchi Mahiraya, can you ask the question, or do you want me to ask it?
Good evening, ma'am. I am a PhD scholar, and I suppose there are quite a few in this webinar who are attending that. So I just wanted to know if you could tell us if there's any program for research scholars which are, studying the field of entrepreneurship, so that we can get trained, and then that might be helpful for, pursuing a career in entrepreneurship as a job, or anything you suggest.
Yeah, so if you go by the analysis, we have last 5 years, we are doing a study with IIT Kanpur, and going by the education profile pie chart, in terms of PhDs opting for a startup, they are really in the high-tech domain, and the number could be close to 15% out of the whole startup tally we have, which is close to 3,800 in 5 years time frame. So IIT Delhi has really mooted this concept of PhD incubator. So all startups they want to be taken under this fold are PhD students or research scholars, wherein they have really from lab level, they have come out with a solution which has a good commercial application, has a good potential commercially, and only to support these kind of they have already launched this in Sonepat campus, and these research scholars are given free residential camp. Nothing is charged for the accommodation, and I think I'm told there are 3-4 research scholars already availing this kind of you can say facility and the focus which has been given by IIT Delhi. I think others will also follow suit, but for us, we are qualification agnostic, except that they have to be really science and technology graduates. That's the only basic yardstick we are putting in. I do think that once if startup is founders are research PhD scholars, they really need a good sort of business mentoring, because they may be these sort of people have a lot of passion about their idea, but they may be really lacking on the business side. So in terms of building a right set of team to take your research level project to a commercial level thing, you really require a complementary skill set of team. And incubator will even they prefer these kind of startups who come with, but what they should be really open to become a good mentee. So you have to see, you have attained, you are in terms of highest qualification. Sometimes it's so very difficult to these kind of startup founders to be a good mentee, take advice from the real people. If you are like Muthu has also highlighted that if one is willing to really learn the tricks of the trade, the learning ropes, I think if you are serious enough, I think nobody can stop you.
I think with that, I want to say thank you very much for your time, and it's been wonderful having you. And you're extremely kind to HTIC, and to me, I must say you're always been very supportive when we reach out to you, and to my team as well. They all appreciate you. Of course, all of them being girls, they appreciate you, and they look up to you as a role model, and it's great to do that. And there's a lot of messages on the site saying thank you very much, ma'am, great session and all that. So I just read that for you. So I want to say thank you very much again. We always post this on our YouTube channel for those who were not able to come. Is it okay with you for me to put it up?
Yeah, sure. So, and I would just thank you, Muthu, thank your entire team, and thank you all who were part of this webinar. I think whosoever is really willing to dabble on the entrepreneurship domain, I think there's lot to learn, lot to offer, get availed of the kind of offerings which government has put in so far, and things are going to be better and bigger for sure. So it's high time. Don't someone who is sitting out of tier 2, tier 3, government will come and knock at you, because Atmanirbhar India, self-reliant India, vocal for local will be the new added agenda. So cutting across the qualification, cutting across the location, I think we are going to be one inclusive India. So I think on that note, let me say a goodbye to all, and all the best, my all best wishes to all of you in your respective areas. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Talk to you later. Bye.
Bye.